So today we're continuing on with our little detour in Go Math. We're doing lesson 11.3. And your learning goal says I can classify. What's another word for classify? Starts with an S. Everyone? Sort. Very good. I can sort or classify and compare quadrilaterals based on their attributes. Attributes means like properties or what characteristics they have. What are some characteristics or attributes you already know about quadrilaterals? Jaden?
They have 4 sides.
They'll have 4 sides. What's another attribute you know about quadrilaterals? Jonathan? They have 4 vertices. Vertices, very good. And what else, Ritvik? They have 4 angles. You already know a lot of attributes, but we're going to talk about some more, okay? But first, let's talk about the problem of the day. So once again, another attribute we can look at when we're trying to classify or sort quadrilaterals is how their lines are. If their lines are parallel, that means that they never intersect. Okay? If their lines are perpendicular, that means when they cross, when they intersect, they will make exactly an angle that's exactly how many degrees? 90 degrees. So let's try this again. Show me a set of parallel lines with your arms. Let me see it from everyone. Parallel lines. Parallel means they will never intersect, so they should be straight out in front of you. Or some people are making equal signs like this. That works too. Show me perpendicular lines. Maybe you want to point at the floor and the front wall, or the front wall and the ceiling. Some of you are bending your elbows like this to make a perpendicular line with your elbow, and forearm and upper arm. As a reminder, any quadrilateral, a general quadrilateral, has 4 sides and 4 angles. We're still in our notebooks right now. So, is this a quadrilateral? Yeah, it has, how many sides does it have? 4. How many angles does it have? How many vertices does it have? It's a quadrilateral. What about this shape here? Is it also a quadrilateral? Yeah, but it's a special kind of quadrilateral. It's called a trapezoid. Even though this is in your packet, we're not looking at the packet right now. Take notes in your notebook. Write down that a trapezoid is a special type of quadrilateral. And looking at this, if I tell you that this picture down here is an example of a trapezoid, how many parallel sides does it have?
2.
It has 1 pair of parallel sides. As you can see, this top line, if I were to extend it forever and ever and ever, and this bottom line, if I were to extend it forever and ever and ever, would they ever cross? No. So it's a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with exactly 1 pair of parallel, and make sure you spell the word parallel correctly, sides. So how would I fill in these blanks? A parallelogram has opposite what's? Sides that are, they are parallel, but I also noticed, look at those. Those opposite sides have the same tick marks, and these opposite sides have the same tick marks there too. What does that show about them? Congruent. So a parallelogram has opposite sides that are congruent. That means they're the same size and parallel. Now, look at this bottom one. How many pairs of parallel sides do you see? Are the tops and bottoms parallel? Are opposite sides parallel?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what do you notice about the tick marks? They're all the same. So a rhombus is just like a parallelogram where the opposite sides are congruent and parallel, but how many congruent sides does it have? 4. Okay, so a rhombus is a special parallelogram with 4 congruent sides. Now a rectangle is a special type of parallelogram. Wait a second, how can I say that a rectangle is a parallelogram? Well, are its opposite sides congruent?
Yeah.
Are those 2 opposite sides congruent? I can tell because I have the 1 tick mark. Are the opposite sides parallel?
Yes.
Yeah, right? If I keep drawing those lines, will these 2 red lines ever intersect? Therefore, they are parallel. What about these 2 yellow lines? Are they parallel? Are they congruent?
Yeah.
Okay, I can tell by the tick marks. So this is definitely a parallelogram, but it's a special type of parallelogram called a rectangle because look at where the red and yellow lines intersect. What kind of angles are formed? So we can say that the red and yellow lines are, what's the math word we learned that shows when the yellow line and the red line intersect, They form a 90-degree angle. What do we call those two lines? They are perpendicular. Very good. So how many right angles do they have? 4. And 4 pairs of perpendicular lines. Very good. Write it down. Now a square is also a parallelogram. Do you agree? Are opposite sides congruent? Are opposite sides parallel? Okay. Do they form 90-degree angles? Are they perpendicular lines? So is this also a rectangle? Oh yeah. A square is a special parallelogram. It's also a special type of rectangle. Because how many congruent sides does it have? Look at the tick marks. Are all 4 sides congruent? So it has 4 congruent sides. And how many right angles does it have? 4. Together with your partner, I want you to talk about this right here. This last polygon that we talked about. This last quadrilateral. Sorry, polygon. How many different names can you give it that would be accurate? Can we call it a polygon?
Yes.
Okay. Can we call it a quadrilateral?
Yes.
Okay. What else could we call it? Go ahead and talk to your partner and see how many names you can come up with.